Okay, guys. It was Alexander Williams. Commented, Mr. Ashton, how do you get your maps to look so good? What do you use? The answer is I use PowerPoint. And I'm going to show you two techniques that I tend to use when I use PowerPoint, which I use about 75% of the time. This is the basic technique. This is if you're using the entire United States. This is extremely simple. You take a simple map. I recommend you search up US blank map, and then if you're using Google, you can just select large photo in your settings so that it will actually give you a larger photo, higher quality, aka better. But just get a map you like. That's the most important part. Okay, so now what we do is we will draw on literally just right over the outlines. We don't want it just like all over the place, otherwise it would look like this. Okay, below average temperatures in this circle here. No, doesn't work that way. Does not look good. So let's say this is a winter forecast, and brainstorm. Okay, we're gonna have. Oh yeah, hold on. I used the curve tool. You can use. There is like several different tools you can use. For this technique, I tend to use the curve, but you can use this and just click it if you want a straight line and hold it down, which I don't have a steady hand, so mine ends up just looking bad in general, so I don't like to use that one. Curve is much easier because you can click, and then it bends and turns into more of a straight shape, whereas if you use like the freeform tool, it would end up being boxy. It doesn't look as good. So we're going to use curve. One thing I must warn you about curve, if you make a big long line and then try to go that way, it's going to pop out way over here. It's going to pop out on the other side. So when you're about to make a big turn, you can go big, then a very like small approach. Sometimes it's even just too big in general, but usually you're only going to be moving in this amount anyway. You'll just click, then click again in a very short amount, and then you can turn very simply. So you just got to be careful. Okay, so we're gonna be making a winter forecast here. We're gonna do. This is gonna be a warm winter for the east. And we're just gonna literally draw along the outlines. I'm gonna do just one example, and then we're gonna move on to the next technique. So you just go along the outline, and I'm going to show you. This looks extremely nice, especially if you're using like layering things like 6 times over. It's just not going to end up looking nice at all. So just to make time go quicker, I'm just gonna speed it up because I've done this for like probably like 6 months now, so I'm becoming very fast. At first, you're gonna be like you're gonna mess up a couple times before you get one down, and I even tend to do that sometimes. But I'll show you a technique. I'm actually gonna make a major mistake right here purposely. I'm gonna go, oh whoops, whoa. I just technically I did that on purpose, but let's just pretend I did that on accident. We're just gonna keep going, and then I'm going to show you how to repair that after you're done. You cannot stop in the middle of drawing. You have to finish the entire thing. And you can also touch them up if you just made like some minor mistakes that you'd like to make better. Or you can even just change your entire forecast even with it just drawn. So let's, and again to conserve time, I'm just going to say, oh, it was a little bit below average in some of those portions. It's going to look weird, but whatever. And then we're going to change that so I can show you also how to change the forecast completely. Okay, so we're going to go up. We're almost done. Thank God it takes like freaking 5 minutes sometimes to this technique's the faster technique, actually, believe it or not. It depends if you're doing the whole United States or not, but okay. So you can see our error we put there. This is going to be slightly above average temperatures. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to make a big outline. You want a big outline so everybody can see what you're doing, and it makes it to where you have to be less specific. Then we're going to go to transparency, and we'll do about 60. Actually, we'll bump that up to 70 or 80. Let's just see what 80 looks like. That might be too much. So maybe we can go with 75. That's a little bit better. Okay, so now what we're going to do, zoom into our messed up area. Okay, we're going to right click that, edit points, and just put these where you want them. Voila, you've completely repaired it basically. And if you just don't like how something looks, just edit that in. And if you right click again, you can do add point, and that's just awesome. Oh wait, I now decided that I want these areas to be above average too. So what we'll do is go ahead and edit point and add another one. Sometimes you have to add a couple. If we wanted it to be up here. Oh, we completely just changed the forecast. It's that easy, and if you just don't like how something looks, again, you can just very, very easily edit this and make it look a lot better. Very simple, but very effective, and that looks pretty darn nice. And obviously I would have touched all this up, so just use my touch-up technique, and you can really just get in depth everywhere. I wasn't really working hard on trying to get it into the border, and also, of course, you could, what I like to do is, you can make the outline even bigger, and just go like 6 points all the way, and there's like not even any errors really, except for right here, and right over here. But that's the first technique. Okay, we're going to delete that slide now. Now, this is the second technique. This is the high quality technique or whatever. Okay. We're going to go for a North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia map. Okay, so let's say you're just going to be like more of a local forecaster, and you're just going to draw a map with PowerPoint. Now, trust me, right now this one's going to look a lot better. Okay. So what we're going to want to do is we're literally drawing our own map here. We're going to draw our own map of our states, but you're going to need a guideline, and this is going to be your guideline, whichever map you like. And what's cool about this technique is you can actually kind of draw it the way you want. So you can make it a little more sharp. This one tends to be a little curvy, the edges. So you can just go more straight on and give it your own kind of personality, I guess, because this is the one, you're not entitled to this map, obviously, but this is the one you're going to want to use for a long time. You're not going to want to draw a map every week. So you're definitely going to want to like it, and it's going to definitely want to be able to look good. So now that we're at a border, what we're going to do is we're going to go all the way to the end. Back up. Yeah, you heard me. Back up. Now we're going to go all the way back down. You can obviously use different techniques when actually trying to draw these, but this is what I tend to do. Okay, now we've completely done all like the borders from state to state, like the Virginia-North Carolina border and the North Carolina-South Carolina border. So now we're gonna go up and just finish this map. Right there. Okay, and don't worry that it's like all like weird like that, because we're not going to use the fill. Delete that, turn it black, and I like to have, you're going to want it pretty big, maybe not that big, but this is a good size, so now there's no errors really. It looks pretty nice. Now we're going to delete the map from under it. Voila. Okay, now let's see, we're forecasting snow. This is the example I'm going to give. Now that you have your map done, you can even do this with the whole United States. Alexander, that's actually what I ended up doing. I did the entire United States. It's gonna be, you're gonna have a lot of errors when you do it that way, but you really just have to get in depth and do it. And you can't even make the borders that big because there's a glitch sometimes with the tools where like it'll just like come out like really far. Like if I just came back and I had the like this error where it's like that, so I went all the way back, what's going to end up happening is a lot of the time this will just shoot out. I have zero clue why that happens, but it does. So holy crap. Okay, so we're forecasting a snowstorm. This one's going to be Alberta Clipper. It's a Miller B type nor'easter Clipper system, I guess. So basically, we're gonna see the snow come through here and just draw on the line. It does. When the bigger the line, the easier it is to do. Okay, no errors here. We're not gonna have to do anything. And with this technique, it's actually the complete opposite than the other one. You actually want the outlines of your like layers to be as small as possible, so that we don't have outlines coming out of our states. We don't want that. And obviously, if you're forecasting for Canada, you can just do whatever you want with that. I personally don't forecast for Canada, so I wouldn't know what you want to do. Okay. You're going to delete that and go for the lightest blue possible, or whatever color you want to do, depending on whether it's rain or not. Looks good. Now we're going to click on this with our left click that, then right click, then bring to front. Click that, and boom. It looks pretty nice. And then you can add layers on top. We're not gonna even have to change the like how faded it is or anything, because it's that like you don't have to do that with this technique, I guess. So that'll be like 0 to 1 inch, and then this will be like 2 to 4 or something. I'm only gonna do 2 layers just to show you. I'm not gonna do a ton, but it looks good, trust me. The more time you put into making it, the better it's gonna look overall. Unless you're just a boss at it, then it doesn't really matter how much time you put into it. There we go. And this time we're gonna go on. No. Oh crap! I was doing that on the outline. Okay. So the fill, you're gonna want. So that was a lighter blue. We're going to go for a medium dark blue, because you obviously want to leave room for another layer. And this looks pretty nice. And this is a pretty good technique. It's overall the best. It's the hardest, but it ends up looking the best in the end if you're using PowerPoint. Paint almost looks as good as this, but it just doesn't.